There's a kind of destruction that doesn't come with shouting, cheating, or betrayal. It comes quietly, slowly. It rewires your confidence one look at a time, one sigh, one moment where you start wondering if maybe you're not enough anymore. You don't even notice it happening. You wake up one day and realize the fire's gone, not just from the relationship, but from you. Ever had a woman who made you feel unstoppable, like the world bent for you? And another who somehow made you doubt every decision, every word, every part of yourself? Same man, same potential. Two completely different versions of you, depending on the eyes staring back at you. That's not coincidence. That's not losing your spark. That's psychological conditioning happening in real time. Most men think manipulation means someone's lying or gaslighting you. But the most dangerous kind doesn't need words at all. It's in the way she looks at you when you talk, the way her tone shifts when you fail, the silence when you need support the most. By the time you realize what's happening, you're not even fighting her anymore. You're fighting the version of yourself she's built in your head. This video isn't about blaming women. It's about exposing a pattern that quietly destroys men from the inside out, and showing you how to recognize it before it owns you completely. Stay till the end, because once you see it, you'll never see relationships the same way again. You don't lose yourself all at once. It's never one big moment. It happens in pieces, quietly, gradually. Like a slow leak you don't notice until you're standing in the wreckage of who you used to be. It usually starts with someone you trust the most, the person you've opened your soul to. You think you've found love, safety, partnership. But somewhere along the way, that warmth turns into something colder. The way she used to light up when you entered the room now feels forced. The laughter you shared becomes rare. Her eyes don't sparkle when she looks at you anymore. They measure you, judge you. You tell yourself it's stress, it's life, it's just a phase. But your body knows something's wrong before your mind does. You feel smaller around her, less sure of yourself. You start filtering what you say, softening who you are, hoping to avoid that sigh, that glance, that subtle disappointment she doesn't even have to verbalize. That's the beginning. That's where the programming starts. Every man knows this feeling, even if he can't name it. You can be powerful out there in the world, commanding teams, making moves, earning respect, but walk through that door at home, and suddenly you're apologizing for existing too loudly. You start shrinking to fit her comfort zone. You don't realize you've handed her something sacred, the remote control to your self-worth. It's not about dominance or submission. It's about emotional influence. The person closest to you becomes the mirror you use to see yourself. And when that mirror starts reflecting only disappointment, something inside you begins to fracture. You start believing her version of you more than your own. Science backs this up. Your brain is constantly scanning for feedback from the people you're emotionally attached to. Their reactions become data your nervous system uses to decide how safe, confident, and valuable you are. When her tone, her energy, or her silence tells you you're failing, your body reacts as if your survival is at risk. Cortisol spikes, dopamine drops, testosterone crashes. You start living in emotional survival mode, even when nothing's being said. What makes it dangerous is how subtle it is. It's not the shouting or fighting that breaks you. It's the invisible shift, the missing smile, the distant eyes, the tone that tells you she's no longer impressed. You keep trying to win back what you didn't know you lost, but every effort just makes you look more desperate, more unworthy. This isn't weakness, it's biology. Men are wired to seek validation from the person they love. But when that validation turns into quiet disapproval, Your entire identity bends under the weight of her perception. And here's the cruel truth. By the time you notice, you're already deep inside the trap. You've started to believe that the broken version of you is who you really are. But it's not. It's who she's trained you to see. It never starts with cruelty. It starts with admiration, with warmth, with that intoxicating look that says you're everything. In the beginning, she sees you as a hero. Every story you tell lands perfectly. Every move you make feels magnetic. Her laughter makes you stronger. Her eyes tell you that you matter. You start seeing yourself through her excitement, and it feels incredible. You don't even realize it, but her admiration becomes your fuel. Her validation becomes your reflection. Then one day, it changes. Not all at once, just slightly. The sparkle in her eyes fades, replaced with calculation. Curiosity turns into quiet evaluation. She's not listening anymore. She's appraising. You can feel it. You can feel her pull away before she ever says a word. The comments come next, harmless at first. You used to be so driven. My friend's husband just got promoted. Remember when you were more ambitious? Each line feels small, but your mind registers every single one. They don't land like jokes. They land like paper cuts. Individually, they don't kill you, but over time, they bleed you out. You tell yourself you're imagining it. You don't want to be that guy, the insecure one, the sensitive one. So you brush it off. You try harder. You work longer. You smile through it. But trying to earn back respect from someone who's already lost, it only drains you faster. It's emotional quicksand. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink. The manipulation isn't always intentional. Most of the time, she doesn't even know she's doing it. It's evolutionary, a constant measuring of your strength, your potential, your value. When that value drops in her eyes, something inside her shifts. She can't fake admiration anymore. And that shift changes how she looks at you, talks to you, even breathes around you. Your nervous system records it all. The look, the silence, the sigh. Every time you feel her disappointment, your body reacts like you've failed a test that determines your worth. It releases stress chemicals. Your confidence drops. Your motivation fades. You start doubting yourself in places that used to feel solid. The worst part? You begin to believe it's your fault. You think you're just tired, or off your game, or not trying hard enough. But the truth is simpler. You're living inside someone else's perception of you. You're being programmed by their lack of belief. This is the invisible pattern that destroys men from the inside out. It doesn't take violence or betrayal, just enough subtle rejection to make you doubt your own reflection. And once that doubt takes root, it spreads. You stop showing up as yourself. You stop dreaming big. You start apologizing for the man you used to be. That's the trap. You're not fighting her. You're fighting the version of you that she slowly convinced you to become. But the question is, how deep does this conditioning go? And more importantly, how do you break it before it breaks you completely? If this hit home, don't just nod and move on. Subscribe now, because this isn't just another video, it's a mirror. Every day, we break down the patterns that quietly destroy men and rebuild the mindset that makes them unstoppable again. Join now. Reclaim your power. Most men think manipulation is loud, a scream, a lie, an argument. But the real kind? It's quiet, invisible. It hides inside tone, silence, timing. It lives in how you feel about yourself when you're around her. This isn't about villains and victims. It's about programming. emotional feedback loops that reshape who you think you are. Every look, every sigh, every shrug sends a signal your nervous system can't ignore. You don't choose to absorb it. Your biology does it for you. Humans evolved to mirror the emotions of those we depend on. It's survival wiring. Thousands of years ago, rejection from the group meant death. So the brain developed a simple rule. If the people closest to you withdraw approval, you must fix yourself to survive. That ancient rule still lives inside you. When the person you love looks at you with disappointment, your brain doesn't see it as a small emotional moment. It reads it as danger. Your body floods with cortisol. Your confidence drops. You start changing who you are to restore safety. But the more you chase her approval, the more power she gains over your sense of self. And here's what most men don't realize. This isn't always intentional. She's not sitting there plotting how to tear you down. Often, it's subconscious. Women evolved to evaluate the strength of their partner. It's biological vetting. When she senses your momentum slipping, even slightly, her attraction and respect begin to fade. She can't help but communicate that through tone, expression, and energy. The tragedy is how subtle it is. It's in the moment she stops laughing at your stories, the delayed smile, the way she doesn't touch you like she used to. The excitement that once made you feel like a king turns into quiet judgment. You start picking up on it, not with your mind, but with your gut. You sense it before you can explain it. Your brain records every micro-reaction like a camera you can't turn off. And over time, those reactions rewrite your internal code. You start asking smaller questions, making safer choices, speaking softer. You stop taking up space. It's not because you've changed. It's because you've been reconditioned. And the cruel part? When you finally bring it up, you're told you're imagining things. You're being too sensitive. You're overthinking. That's the gaslight. That's the moment the manipulation locks in. Because now you don't even trust your own perception. You start wondering if you really are the problem. But you're not. You're reacting to a feedback loop you didn't create. One built from thousands of tiny signals that whisper the same message. You're not enough. And when you hear that long enough, your body stops fighting it. It adapts. It becomes the truth you live by. That's how powerful this conditioning is. It doesn't break you suddenly. It trains you to break yourself. It turns strength into self-doubt, ambition into hesitation, love into fear. And until you recognize that this process is happening, you'll keep mistaking slow psychological erosion for relationship problems. Because this isn't just about her behavior, it's about your biology, and how easy it is for love to turn into control when you don't even see it coming. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Once you feel that something sacred inside you has been rewritten, you can't pretend it's fine anymore. The question becomes, what do you do now? There are only 3 choices, and each one defines the kind of man you'll become. The first is confrontation. Not a fight, not blame. Truth. You tell her what's happening. You explain how the small things, the tone, the looks, the silence, have started to erode the way you see yourself. You're not accusing her. You're describing your reality. A good woman will listen. She'll care that she's become a source of pain instead of peace. But if she laughs it off, flips it back on you, or calls you too emotional, then the truth is already staring you in the face. She's not losing respect for you. She's already lost it. The second choice is rebuilding, not the relationship, but yourself. You start taking back the ground you gave away. You reconnect with the things that made you you before the manipulation began. You spend time alone, with friends, who remind you of your worth. You chase challenges that make you feel alive again. You stop needing her to clap for you. Because every time you look for her approval, you're teaching your nervous system that you still depend on her to define your value. This one's hard, because even when you know the truth, your body still craves the version of her that used to love you. That's not weakness, it's withdrawal. You've been addicted to her validation for so long that healing feels like detox. But every day you go without chasing her approval, you get stronger. Every day you choose your own reflection over hers, the spell breaks a little more. And then there's the third choice, the hardest, but sometimes the only one left. You walk away. You stop waiting for her to remember who you were. You stop fighting for a version of love that no longer exists. Because staying in a place that constantly erases your worth isn't loyalty. It's self-destruction. This is the part most men never reach. They stay because leaving feels like failure. But the real failure is staying where you're slowly dying. Walking away isn't weakness. It's a declaration that your soul has a price, and you're done letting someone else spend it for you. The truth is simple. The wrong woman will make you doubt yourself. The right one will make you remember who you are. And if she can't see your value, that doesn't mean you lost it. It just means she no longer has the eyes to recognize it. You have three choices: stay silent and decay, rebuild and recover, or walk away and rise. Whichever path you choose will define not just your relationship, but the man staring back at you in the mirror. If this spoke to you, don't let it fade when the video ends. Hit subscribe, because this is where men remember their worth, rebuild their edge, and learn to walk away from what weakens them. Join the movement. Don't just survive love, master it. Every relationship becomes a mirror. The question is, what does yours reflect back to you? When two people admire each other, something powerful happens. Respect turns into momentum. You start showing up as your best self because you're seen that way. She sees you as strong, capable, worthy, and you rise to meet that vision. That's what real love does. It doesn't just make life easier, it makes you better. But when admiration disappears, the entire system collapses. Love without respect becomes evaluation. Every word gets weighed. Every action gets measured. You stop feeling like a partner and start feeling like a project. And slowly, you begin performing for approval that never comes. That's when the spiral begins. Contempt feeds doubt. Doubt feeds hesitation. And hesitation feeds more contempt. It's an endless loop that drains both people until there's nothing left but quiet resentment. You start living like roommates pretending to be lovers. You're not fighting for connection anymore. You're negotiating for tolerance. Most people don't notice it because it doesn't explode. It decays. A joke here, an eye roll there, a compliment that never comes. It's death by indifference. And men, especially men who pride themselves on loyalty, stay too long in places where they're no longer respected. They confuse endurance for strength. But here's the truth. Staying where you're not valued doesn't make you noble. It makes you numb. You start teaching her that she can diminish you without consequence. And the longer you stay, the more you confirm her perception that you're beneath her. The most balanced relationships I've seen have one thing in common. Both people feel like they got the better deal. They both look at each other with a quiet sense of gratitude. That gratitude becomes the fuel that keeps admiration alive. When both people feel lucky, There's no room for power games or silent manipulation. The toxic ones, they're built on imbalance. One person believes they could do better. The other believes they should be grateful just to be chosen. That's not love. That's hierarchy. And hierarchy always breeds control. Men fall into this trap because they chase the wrong thing. They choose beauty over peace, validation over partnership. They ignore the signs, the subtle disrespect, the emotional distance, because they're addicted to how she looks, not how she makes them feel. But eventually, every man learns this lesson. Being with someone who looks good but makes you feel small is not winning. It's imprisonment dressed as intimacy. The right relationship isn't built on attraction alone. It's built on admiration, on mutual elevation. Two people who make each other stand taller, not shrink smaller. And if the person beside you can't see your worth, you don't need to prove it. You just need to stop standing in places that require you to forget it. Because love that costs your self-respect isn't love. It's slow erosion disguised as devotion. Freedom doesn't start the moment you leave her. It starts the moment you remember who you were before she made you forget. That man is still in there, the one who dreamed bigger, who spoke with conviction, who didn't need permission to take up space. He's been buried under layers of doubt and apology, but he's not gone. He's waiting for you to stop seeing yourself through someone else's eyes. The truth is, the manipulation only works if you keep participating in it. Every time you explain yourself, beg for reassurance, or twist to fit her expectations, you're feeding the same machine that's been draining your power. The day you stop needing her validation is the day the spell breaks. You'll feel it the moment you reclaim your silence. When you stop arguing, stop proving, stop chasing. When you realize you don't have to earn respect, you simply stop tolerating disrespect. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. Most men fear being alone, but solitude isn't punishment. It's recalibration. It's where you rediscover your original frequency, the sound of your own strength. The wrong relationship numbs you. Isolation wakes you up. You start sleeping deeper, breathing easier, walking taller. You realize you were never depressed. You were suppressed. And then something beautiful happens. Life begins to mirror your new energy. You attract people who value you, not for what you give, but for who you are. You start building instead of begging. You stop surviving and start living. The irony? The moment you stop needing anyone to see your worth, the right people finally do. Because confidence isn't noise. It's quiet certainty. It's peace that doesn't ask for permission. So if you are still in that place, the cold house, the empty love, the silent judgment, understand this. Every day you stay is a day stolen from the man you could be. Every apology for existing is another brick in a cage you built together. You don't owe anyone your slow death. You owe yourself your rebirth. Walk away if you must. Crawl if you have to. But leave the places that shrink you, because the truth is simple. You can rebuild everything once you remember your worth. Money, success, confidence, peace, they all return once you stop handing your reflection to someone else to manage. Love shouldn't feel like walking on glass. It should feel like breathing air. You're not what she decided you were. You're not the disappointment she projected. You're not the version of you that settled to survive. You are the man who finally chose himself, and that's where the real freedom begins. If this message hit something deep inside you, don't just scroll past it. Do something with it. Hit subscribe, Because this space isn't about hating anyone. It's about helping men wake up, rebuild, and rise again. Drop a comment below and tell your story. Not to complain, but to reclaim your power. You never know who might need to hear that they're not alone. And if this video spoke truth into the part of you that's been quiet for too long, share it. Send it to a friend, a brother, someone who's losing himself and doesn't even see it happening yet. The world doesn't need more broken men. It needs more aware ones, grounded, powerful, awake. So stay here, join the movement, because this isn't just content. It's your reminder of who the hell you really are.